So I have a set of the questionnaires that I'm going to ask both Dr. Istianah and Cik Hasan. And you are also feel free to type in your question. So let me just roll the first question. So while waiting for the rest to share. Okay, so the first question I think I want to target to Dr. Is, could you share with us on the synergy between public sector ICT strategic plan for 2021 to 2015, which is the current one, with the MyGov EA, and how they complement each other?
Okay, we have come up with a different strategy this year. Prior to this, the development of ICT strategic plan and also EA is done separately. But with the current digitalization strategic plan, we are actually developing both the strategic plan and EA together. So two different approach that we are doing now. One is the government-wide EA, whereby we actually take up the trust in public sector digitalization plan and map it into how we're going to implement all those activities and programs in the trust by designing the high-level architecture for the government-wide. The second one is that we go down to the agency and assist them in terms of developing their own strategic plan, digitalization strategic plan, together with the high-level architecture of their plan. So what the agency need to adhere to is actually combining or roping in the business people during the development of digitalization plan and understanding how the impact of technology and application to their businesses.
All right, this thank you for the insightful explanation. So I want to now ask Cik Hasan. There are huge efforts by looking of what you have shared in terms of the effort and resources to map so-called a live event for a citizen journey mapping. Can this be offset against the benefit that government provide to the citizen? Perhaps you could elaborate further on this statement.
Okay, besides giving the services to the government, actually the governments also look into the other way around. You know, in terms of the collection, okay, and also the leakages of certain revenue and things like that. Okay, so the customer journey actually handles both sides. Okay, one is the giving the value services or better services to the end customers. Okay, when they give a better services, the interaction points reduces, the counter reduces. So there are a lot of cost saving in terms of that area itself. And now we can hear some of the agency are saying that we are going to go counterless, okay, zero counter, but backed up by the digital services and also using some kind of intelligence to provide the services. And also at the same time, when they look at the customer journey, they also realize that there are some opportunities to increase the revenue and also to reduce the leakages of certain collection of revenue. Okay, so this is where they're providing, like say, collection services, how we can actually facilitate the collection services. So this will give faster revenue and also the collection that is going to be good for the government. So I can see that by doing this service redesign, using the enterprise architecture approach, the business value works both from the citizen point of view and also from the government. So they actually can shift the budget from the savings that they have into modernizing or going for digital services.
Right, thank you so much for the explanation. Now I want to ask, while waiting for the rest to type in your question in at the link there at the bottom there in your Zoom. So Dr. Is, perhaps you could update us on where are we in terms of the journey, right? Basically, we want to know that we want to travel from point A to point B. Where are we now?
Very tough one, Aaron. Okay, digitalization, right?
Yeah.
As I mentioned just now in my presentation, there are three phases of digital transformation. So if we are looking into the Malaysian perspective, we are actually in the middle of digitization and digitalization. So I can say about 40% of our services is already digitalized, but another 60% still going through the digitization process and embarking on digitalization. So that is based on the research that we've done and also the data collected from the agencies.
All right, so basically we are almost halfway, somewhere there, right? So of course now we need to accelerate because like the effort to get into the halfway, I think, you know, I was informed earlier, is huge and very complex and many facing challenges. So what do you think all the agency and the ministry or all the government unit should get them prepared? What do you think, you know, perhaps the step to get it ready so that the next 2 to 3 years we can run in the full speed rather than crawling in the last 3 to 5 years? So what do you think they should do?
Okay, we have been given a message from the central that we're going to lead the digitalization for the government. So what the agency and ministry need to do is actually planning their digitalization upfront, but not from the technology perspective. It should be combined together with the business perspective. So we have lots of requests from the agency this year, looking into digitalization as a combination of plan rather than they develop each of plan in silos. So what happened is that when we have the session and we advise them to develop the digitalization uh, programs or initiatives, we ask them to look together with the ecosystem or the players that deal with the services that they want to transform. Whether the players is in the government as a government to government interaction, or the players is outside, which is the business or the some entity that give them the similar services to the rakyat. So because of that, we find out that a lots of initiatives is actually redundant or maybe similar between agencies that in terms of architecture and projects, we can actually do it as one for the government rather than multiple initiatives.
Okay, I think that's one of the benefit of the EA, that, you know, to reduce overlapping and improve collaboration. So instead of each one of them running in silo, but we can have a consolidated effort so that we can do things faster, cheaper, and better. And of course, at the end of the day, we'll be the citizen that experiencing the full benefit of the seamless experience and interaction with the government. So I want to ask next to Cik Hasan in terms of the citizen journey mapping or live events. What do you think the top 3 challenges that you face in your experience in dealing with helping agency to map their so-called live event? And not only about the challenges, how do you think or what do you think they should overcome this? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is actually for the government agency or any service provider to actually admit the real situation. Okay, so very often when we run the workshops and so on, is represented by the users within the organization. Okay, so it's at their best knowledge or their own experience representing the end customers or citizens to provide the situation. Okay, if possible, okay, they should get the real persona, okay, the real citizens into the workshops. Okay, so recently when we did the workshops in the Ministry of Education, we actually invited the parents, the associations, the teachers, okay, and also all the citizens that actually get services, so that we get the real life situation and emotional from them. Okay, So the other one is when we talk about this service redesign, we need to look into something that is really transformational. It's not a simple incremental. It has to have the wow factor. Okay. So when they do the redesign, what is the wow factor that people will say that yes, this is the government services that I wanted all this while. Okay. We must surprise the citizens. Okay, that means the services are actually coming to their doorsteps instead of them coming to us. So this service redesign must be at the transformational level, not just a simple incremental. So this involves, using enterprise architecture approach, okay, so that you can see the end-to-end value chain. You can see how the business is being impacted, and when there's a transformation, how actually we redesign the processes, the services, backed up by the newer technology that actually will take place. The other one is actually to look into the holistic approach. We are no more as one agency, we are one whole government. So we need to look into end to end and go beyond our agency to another agency that actually thinks about the end customer. So taking the holistic approach and ecosystem is very important. So therefore, the outside out, okay, the outside in thought is very important, and that comes to the willingness for us to collaborate, the change management. So that is one of the challenges that we can look into, how actually we get, the agencies to have an open mind, to actually share information, to share even the services or the system that the other providers is giving. And next, we look into the recipient, how actually we change them to actually come into the digital society. So these are some of the challenges that actually we face during this discussion workshops, and using EA, getting the real citizens involved, engaging them, and also the collaboration together with the change management is the challenges that we need to anticipate.
Right. I think thank you so much for the insightful experience. I think this is a very, very valuable lesson because as we just, almost halfway, maybe, still in the early stage. So there will still be a lot of fine tuning that we have to do because the next few years will be running at the full speed. So now I want, so like, I believe everyone also want to know from Dr. E's experience in terms of your three top challenges in the last few years, and what do you think, knowing the challenges that you face, basically not easy, what do you think we should overcome it for the next 3 years so that we can get double or triple outcome of what we have done in the last 3 years or 4 years?
The first one is actually the terms enterprise architecture itself. People, in the government, if we present it as enterprise architecture, they don't want to listen because they don't understand what is enterprise architecture. So we're not using the terms of enterprise architecture when we want to buy in the stakeholders or even the newcomers. We are talking about digitalisation or transformation. So that is the most, because our policy says you must implement enterprise architecture. So you cannot get the buy-in. So that is the most difficult. The second one is a stigma that enterprise architecture is equal to Archimede drawing. Because of that, we get a lot of resistance from agency when we ask them to design their proposed services in our evaluation of projects. That is second. The third one is in terms of sustaining our core team to have a very good team that can drive the implementation of government-wide enterprise architecture. Because not everybody interested in doing a difficult job to be the reference person in an organization for both business and technology.
All right. Okay. I think thank you so much for the insightful and very honest sharing. right? I can see that this is really not reading from the book or from internet, but it's really what we are facing in the day-to-day operation. And I think there's a one comment from one of the participants. Yeah, I think he said that after watching all the presentation, maybe we shouldn't be too idealistic. Okay, maybe we should consider the not so ideal part and challenges such as culture. I think culture is very, very important. We have to acknowledge on the even work culture. Of course, in the real life we call it politics, but in the so-called softer part is culture. So we need to be aware on that, and of course, stagnant and resistant to change, because nobody like to change. If I'm already comfortable in this the way I do work, please don't change it. If you want to change, wait until I retire. Okay, I sudah pension, you took kalah. Okay, but now don't change. Okay, so this is the reality of life as well. And of course, red tape and bureaucracy, especially between ministry and the data they have, is like, they forget that they're actually one government. They said, no, this is my ministry. You other ministry, you go settle yourself. Actually, they forgot one country, one nation, one government. See, I think this is something real that we need to keep reiterating. Although we carrying the same passport, etc., but we forgot. We think like your ministry is not my business. Yeah, so this is something.
Maybe just to add on, Aaron.
Yes.
Um, okay, when we talk about the change and resistance, okay, always there is. But when you look at the current situation now, the new norm, it actually forces us, we don't have a choice. It forces us actually to, go digital. And it's proven actually by this force of the new norm and things like that, people are actually working from home. We are running our, seminars online, benefiting. I have been running even workshops, okay, online, okay, with people, and we are getting things done with the new norm. So, like it or not, the change is there, but we need to overcome it, okay, and we take advantage of this new norm. Okay, talking about the downsides, okay, I always have this comment: we don't look at the downsides. We look at maintaining the same resources, but having a higher productivity and value services. Okay, for instance, if say our agency have say 3,000, staff, okay, or penjawat awam, what is the projection in the next 5 years or 10 years? Okay, it's always increasing. Okay, if you look at our statistics, we have from 10 or 15 years ago from 800, 1.2 million. Now we got 1.6 million, and it's increasing maybe towards 2 million. Okay, of the penjawat awam. So what we can do is to tell the government, our stakeholders, okay, we don't focus on the downsizing, but we look at the sustaining the same amount of penjawat awam, okay, even now and in the future, so that it will show that the same amount of people are providing more services to a larger population, and the use of the digitalization to provide additional services. And do not forget, digitalization requires new skills. You need to have a data scientist, machine learning, analytics, the designing of the new services requires new skills. So all this job or role that has been taken over by the automation or digital, okay, now we reskill and look into the new kind of role and services that's needed. So this is how we should position our value proposition, to say that we don't look at the downsizing, but sustaining the size for the future and adding the new services or more services. Okay.
Right, I
Okay,
think.
I agree with Encik Hasan. Maybe I can add on, Aaron, yeah?
Yes,
There's two
please.
things. One is in terms of putting ourselves in the client perspective. Because if we don't want to make a move towards certain change, then the demand of client services, enlightening the client services, the services to the client, will be as if we actually denying ourselves or our children the future that they're going to have to adopt. As of now, for example, like COVID-19, they are forced to learn using online medium. So that is the way that we are showing the supports that we need to change. If you don't want to change, then you will be left behind. So for you to be a laggard in an organization that actually moving forward, you will become an obstacle to others. So it's not about the culture actually. It's about the mindset. You have to have the right mindset for you to drive the government services, whether it is digital or even non-digital. Because however you want it to be efficient in your work, it still doesn't actually show if the services to the client is not being measured based on the client perspectives. Of
Right.
course, another one that as I mentioned about the new job roles. Yeah, in the government, we also have to look into the new job roles rather than we are focusing on the current profession, current scheme of services that we are complacent enough to do the jobs. So maybe in terms of it's not about the scheme or the professions, it's about the job descriptions or the tasks that you are given. Okay.
Yeah. Right. I think we have one question from Chikanas. Oh, yeah. Okay. The way I understand this OEA, our method of thinking and approach has to change. Okay, that's definitely. Meaning integration of data system and function of certain ministry or agency that has to be reviewed and consolidated to drive efficiency, resource optimization, and in terms of human resources and finance. So yeah, transformation. Because if EA is only done within a ministry or agency, it doesn't address the elephant in the room. I think we're talking about the whole ministry. Okay, how do we make EA as the go-to approach and mechanism? It has to be a whole of a government approach and who hold the ultimate welding stick. That one.
Okay. Maybe I have to answer this. Yeah, Aaron.
Yes.
That's why we try to before this we call it culture change. Yeah, in
Yep.
terms of how you develop or you justify your brief projects. If we compare to physical projects, prior to you come up with a brief project, you must adhere to certain pre-approved plan that has been approved by JKR. Yeah. So that is actually the same with digital services or digital solution. You must have an approved plan for you to come up with a brief project. Otherwise, how do you justify the amount or numbers of investment that you need in the solution? At the same time, the central approach is that we are looking into the overlap solutions by ministries or agencies. So then we advise them to look it together, to sit down and discuss it together, so that they can actually come up with a solution that interrelated or maybe one solution for all of them.
All right. I think we are almost to the end of the time. Any more question? While waiting, maybe for the last final question, maybe is there any so-called message or the wise advice from both esteemed panelists, Dr. Is and Sheikh Hasan? Is there any advice before we part this afternoon? So go ahead, whoever ready.
Maybe saya dulu ya, Cik Hasan.
Yes. Ladies first.
Okay,
Sorry,
just
I should give it to you first.
satulah message saya ya. Don't be afraid of changes. Yeah, because if we make sure that the changes is good for people, it will be good for us as well.
Yeah, my message will be we don't wait, just do it. Choose a very I mean you need to start somewhere. Choose a scope that can make a difference, and then just do it. Okay. So from there you're able to learn and then go for the bigger picture, or while waiting for from the top central agency to drive the entire government. Look into your area where you actually can improve the services for your citizen and customers, and you take on from there. Okay. Okay, that's it.
All right, I guess we have come to an end of this, I think almost 2.5 hour session. I think has been very insightful, and I enjoy this session very much of all the insightful experience and sharing that. It's very difficult, even like we met quite often, but we seldom chat about this thing. But in this type of seminar, we can just freely to share our thought, our experience, so that others can benefit. So with that, I think I want to thank you so much for everyone who are still remain in this session, and also of course to both Dr. Istianah and Cik Hasan, and hope we meet again very soon. Okay, with that, thank you. Bye.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you,
Okay, bye.
everyone.